The year is 1975. The Cold War is at its frostiest. The game of nuclear chess between the United States and the Soviet Union is reaching a critical point. Picture this. Squadrons of massive B-52 bombers are poised on alert at strategic airbases. Each is loaded with enough firepower to level entire cities. These aircraft were constantly kept flying or on high alert. They were ready to get airborne at a moment's notice. They formed a critical part of America's nuclear deterrent. They flew out of Shepherd Air Force Base in Texas. The routes varied by year, but in general, they went to positions over the Canadian Arctic, Alaska, Greenland, and the Mediterranean Sea. But there's a problem. The Soviets have been busy. They've developed air defense systems so advanced they could swat these flying fortresses out of the sky like flies. As one Air Force general put it, sending B-52s into Soviet airspace would be like throwing a rock at a hornet's nest while wearing a bright red target on your chest. So what do? You change the game entirely. Enter the Advanced Technology Bomber Program, or ATB. The goal? Create a bomber that could slip past Soviet defenses like a ghost. It would deliver its payload before the enemy even knew it was there. It was like trying to build an invisible elephant. A seemingly impossible task had engineers scratching their heads. But this wasn't just about military superiority. It was about preserving the delicate balance of power. That balance kept the Cold War from turning hot. The whole concept of nuclear deterrence relied on the ability to strike back if attacked. If the Soviets thought they could neutralize America's bomber fleet, the risk of a first strike increased dramatically. Now, little did anyone know, the solution to this problem had already been dreamed up decades earlier. And then it was quite literally smashed to pieces. Let's rewind the clock back to 1946. World War II had just ended. While most of America focused on building cars and suburban houses, one man was obsessed with a different kind of construction. His name? Jack Northrop. His vision? The flying wing. Imagine an aircraft that's all wing. No fuselage, no tail. Just one sweeping aerodynamic shape. It looked like something out of a sci-fi magazine. But Northrop was convinced it was the future of aviation. In 1947, Northrop's dream took flight as the YB-49. It was a massive jet-powered flying wing with a 50-meter wingspan. It was way ahead of its time. But there was a problem. Without modern computers to help control it, the YB-49 was as stable as a unicycle on a tightrope. The Air Force wasn't impressed. In a decision that felt like a gut punch, they ordered all YB-49s destroyed in 1949. Yes, you heard right. These flying wings were all destroyed. It gives you insight into the aggressive R&D approach of the US Department of Defense. But here's where things get interesting. Fast forward to 1978. The Air Force initiates the ATB program. They're looking for a bomber that can penetrate heavily defended airspace undetected. And who wins the contract? None other than Northrop Corporation. It's like the flying wing rose from the ashes. This time, it's armed with decades of technological advancement and a blank check from the US government. Northrop was poised to turn the impossible into reality. But how? How do you make a 100-ton aircraft with a wingspan as wide as a football field invisible to radar? That's where things get really interesting. Okay, first things first. We've got to talk about that iconic shape. The B-2 looks like it flew straight out of a sci-fi movie. There's good reason for that. The B-2 is Jack Northrop's flying wing concept cranked up to 11. But this isn't just about looking cool. Every curve and angle serves a purpose. Unlike conventional aircraft with distinct fuselages and tails, the B-2 is essentially one continuous wing. This shape does two crucial things. It gives the B-2 an incredibly low radar cross-section. That's stealth speak for really hard to spot. It also provides excellent aerodynamic efficiency. That's crucial for an aircraft designed to fly halfway around the world without breaking a sweat. Now, let's zoom in on the B-2's materials. The real magic happens on the surface. The B-2 skin is coated with top-secret radar-absorbent materials. These aren't your average paints. They're designed to absorb radar energy rather than reflect it. It's like the B-2 is wearing an invisibility cloak. A cloak made of materials so classified, I'd probably disappear if I told you about them. Even the way the B-2 is built contributes to its stealth. The aircraft's skin is made of large, smooth panels with minimal seams. Every edge, every corner, every tiny imperfection could reflect radar waves. Think of the B-2's exterior like a sleek sports car. No rough edges, no sharp corners. Just imagine if that sports car was the size of a warehouse and tried really hard to avoid speeding cameras. Here's where things get tricky. Flying wings aren't very stable without a tail. They tend to yaw and pitch. Basically, they tilt to the sides. To solve this, the B-2 uses a fly-by-wire system. It's so advanced, it's the definition of top secret. This computer control system makes constant adjustments to keep the aircraft stable. It's so sophisticated that the B-2 can pull off maneuvers unthinkable for a plane this size. Imagine you're a radar operator. Suddenly, your screen goes blank. That's the B-2 in action. The B-2 packs 4 General Electric F-118 turbofans. But good luck spotting them. They're buried deep inside the aircraft. The intakes are cleverly hidden on top of the wing. Why? Because nothing says, "Hey, I'm a plane," like a radar beam bouncing off a shiny engine fan blade. The exhaust is cooled and spread over a wide area. This minimizes its infrared signature. It's like the B-2 is tiptoeing through the sky, trying not to leave footprints. The airframe is made of carbon graphite composites. Lightweight, strong, and as radar transparent as possible. The aircraft was built in sections, then assembled with Swiss watch precision. One tiny misalignment, and suddenly you've got a multi-billion-dollar radar reflector instead of a stealth bomber. When the B-2 was unveiled on November 22, 1988, it was like showing the world the future. As it rolled out of its hangar, you could almost hear jaws hitting the floor. This was an aircraft that looked beamed down from a sci-fi movie. It was ready to rewrite the rules of aerial warfare. The tech packed into this flying wonder was awe-inspiring. Over 130 onboard computers controlled every element. The B-2 wasn't just ahead of its time, it was in a time of its own. It combined shape, materials, and electronic countermeasures to achieve near invisibility. The shape confused radar. Its materials absorbed radar energy. Its systems jammed enemy detection. A graph of its radar signature compared to conventional aircraft would show a dot versus a blimp. The result? A radar cross-section 1,000 times smaller than a B-52. On a radar screen, spotting a B-2 is like trying to spot a pigeon. When the B-2 made its maiden flight on July 17, 1989, it proved this wasn't just theory. This thing could fly and fly well. It was the culmination of decades of work. From Jack Northrop's early experiments to cutting-edge 1980s tech. The B-2 Spirit wasn't just a new aircraft. It was a revolution in aviation, a flying testament to human ingenuity. Now, let's talk capabilities. Beyond stealth, the B-2 is a highly capable asset. First, payload. Can carry 20 tons of bombs. Imagine squeezing 10 sedans into its belly. And we're not just talking conventional bombs. The B-2 is part of America's nuclear deterrent. For everyday missions, it carries up to 8,500 pounds of GPS-guided bombs. That's precision strikes on 80 different targets in one sortie. Or, if you're feeling ambitious, it can deploy the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrator. At 15 tons, this bunker buster is like dropping a small building on another building. It's the Air Force's way of saying, "We don't care how deep you dig, we can reach you." Now range. On a single tank, the B-2 flies over 11,000 kilometers. That's like New York to Moscow with fuel left to circle the Red Square a few times. With aerial refueling, its range is anywhere on Earth. It's the kind of plane that shows up uninvited to a party halfway around the world and leaves before anyone notices. Speed? At high altitude, it cruises at 901 kilometers per hour. Not breaking records, but this is a bomber, not a fighter. It's about the slow, silent approach. It can reach 50,000 feet, almost twice Mount Everest's height. It's operated by a crew of 2, a pilot and a mission commander. They're not just flying, they're managing state-of-the-art avionics. And get this, if GPS goes down, the B-2 can navigate by the stars. It operates in all weather, day or night. Its advanced radar allows terrain following and avoidance automatically. Now cost. Each B-2 costs about $2 billion. That's more than the GDP of some small countries. For perspective, you could buy 5,000 average American homes for the price of one B-2. Why so expensive? Cutting-edge tech. Exclusivity, only 21 built. High maintenance. That radar-absorbing skin needs regular reapplication and constant upgrades. The B-2 today is far more advanced than the 1980s version. It's aged forward, getting younger and more capable. Is it worth it? Supporters say yes. How do you price the ability to strike anywhere undetected? Critics say it's too costly. Even stealth can't hide from aging. The Air Force is already eyeing its replacement, the B-21 Raider, the next evolution of stealth. The B-21 will be smaller, more affordable, and multi-role. It'll be a strategic bomber and intelligence hub, the first 6th-gen aircraft of its kind. So, what do you think of the B-2? Want to learn more about the B-21 Raider? Let us know in the comments.